what kind of increment would you have said no to? Or gaji lah, what kind of range yang dia offer like, tak boleh
at
lah.
that point, aku just get whatever. Aku that time, apa-apa kerja semua aku apply. Halal slaughter officer semua aku apply.
You just to get away from.
I just want to get out of USS.
Working Class Podcast.
Selamat kembali ke
Working Class.
Saya Didi.
Saya Iman.
Saya Lando. And jadi kita ada special co-host.
Okay.
Datang dari jauh.
Jauh datang tadi.
Jauh. Pasal dia last episode baru dia join kita. So nama dia Azri. Azri perkenalkan diri sendiri.
Hai, saya Azri.
Podcast ini ditaja oleh Chocolicks Kitchen. Sekali rasa, asyik teringat, sampai terbabas diet. Order sekarang, DM di Instagram atau TikTok.
Okay, I am 40 plus years old lah.
40
43
plus
lah.
years. Value pun.
Okay, I used to work in the I would say oil and gas industry lah, but not specifically oil and gas lah.
Okay.
We deal with pumps, reciprocating pumps, and they are used in pharmaceutical, in chemical, in oil and gas lah. So I was there for about 7 years.
7
years. Oh, okay.
Back story aku kenal Azri. Kita dulu pernah kerja sama-sama. Semasa kita dekat USS dulu.
Okay.
Dia kira aku masuk kau dah ada kan?
Aku ada, but I was there for just a short while. For like 2 years.
Aku kenal dia that 2 years. Kenal tu ya? Aku rasa
Aku rasa kau kenal aku is 1 year.
1 year.
Because aku was there doing construction.
Correct.
Then the park starts, then kau masuk. Then after that 1 year later
Aku dah cabut. Tinggalkan aku.
So other than USS and oil and gas?
Then my first job was I was a aircraft technician lah. And I was there for 5 years.
Itu yang SAE ke SAI? SIA ke atau season?
It's SIA and Pratt & Whitney.
Oh, Pratt
Whitney.
Pratt Whitney dulu. Okay.
Kat Loyang?
Yes. But I think banyak lah Pratt dengan SIA.
Banyak.
Banyak dekat Loyang lah. There's a few companies lah.
I know that Pratt ada satu kat Tuas kan?
Seletar.
West side.
Ada. Tuas pun satu. They call it TOS. Because different equipment they send to different sites lah.
Tu asal kat Tuas lah. Tu kapal terbang punya parts juga kan?
Yes.
Tu asal kat Tuas dah jauh
I think it's more machining and stuff lah. So it's that area.
Different parts lah.
I think so lah.
Maybe.
Aku sendiri tak tahu.
Tapi kau daripada that, I think kau started as a aircraft punya ni.
Yes, aku started as aircraft technician.
Dan
I
lepas
was
tu
there for 5 years and then I would say aircraft punya kerja ni, they are more specific to jobs. Like macam kalau kau welder, you just weld.
Okay.
Kalau kau pasang skru, kau pasang
skru.
Seumur hidup kau pasang
5 tahun pasang skru
5 tahun pasang skru.
Okay.
So it's very job specific lah.
Tak ada senior tukang pasang skru?
Tak ada. Kalau
title.
kau buat inspection, sampai mati lah kau buat inspection. So it's difficult for you to grow lah kan.
Okay. So after that baru kau pergi dekat USS.
Yes.
USS. Okay. USS after that kau dah habis. After that kau rasa tu kerja boring.
No, not really boring lah. Boring is boring. Tapi pasal aku left because they started to do the 5 days work week.
Ya.
Initially it was 3 days, 2 days, then 2 days, 3 days, 12 hours. Night shift. It was okay. Sekali dia tukar 5 days work week, and then your off days is somewhere in between the week and then the following month like weekends lah.
Correct.
So aku just cannot risk.
Tapi weekend pun aku rasa Friday Saturday is either Friday Saturday atau Sunday Monday kau off.
It's not really weekend lah. It's like
not
weekend
really
plus
weekend.
one of the weekdays lah.
Jadi kau imagine lah 5 hari malam tau. Dia bukan 5 hari siang, 5 hari malam.
Nampak juga saya 5 hari. Okay.
Si Dogong ni stay lah. Dia punya nama.
Lama kau kat sana?
Aku rasa tak lama sangat. Tapi total kira 5 sebab aku keluar.
Oh,
Aku masuk balik. Aku masuk balik. So aku rasa the first 3 years aku keluar, bila aku masuk balik baru the pay shift dah tukar lah. 4-3 that time. But still sama. Tu sama. Okay. After that, that's why after that kau pergi to this pump industry. Tapi it was overseas most of the time.
Aku travel most of the time lah. Because it's a German company. So like every year aku have to travel to Germany for training.
Every year have to go
Every year,
compulsory,
every
okay?
year.
Berapa lama
I mean the first time aku kat sana was about 3 months.
Lama.
Then subsequently it's like 1 week. Then like 2 weeks. No more those 3 months lah. Pasal 3 months aku fresh kan. So I need to know their equipments. And they have a lot of different kind of pumps lah. So you have to learn. So that's why I was there for 3 months.
So macam kat Germany tu you have to converse in German.
I would say 90% of the factory they speak German.
Okay, because the thing is because when he mentioned Germany, because Germany has a special requirement whereby kalau kau kerja dekat negara diorang tu, you have to have that
competency.
you need to speak German lah. Yeah. Because I saw a few of the like macam Lufthansa apa semua kan. If you want to work in their company, you have to at least have macam
Kira
basic
kau
German.
masih boleh berbual Jerman tak?
Aku tak belajar apa. Because aku will be attached to diorang punya department yang work international. I will be at the factory lah, at the shop floor lah, learning about their barang-barang lah.
Okay.
Tapi in terms of travelling, how per year how frequent was that travelling?
Aku would say like 60%.
60% of travel.
60%.
Apa juga?
Interesting.
So the punya coverage is Asia, Oceania, Russia, and Arab lah.
That's already like half the world already.
Half the world.
Half lah.
Half the world gone.
Because German will be somewhere in Europe. Then you have US may company. US, they cover their side.
Interesting. I mean like macam okay lah. On a side note, macam you kerja dekat kau kerja dekat German punya company. When you were there, macam mana culture dia dengan you compare to kat sini punya culture?
Different lah. Totally different. Diorang kalau bell ring, diorang will cabut. Diorang is, I would say, work-life balance.
No, serious lah, work-life balance.
Serious.
Oh,
For
okay.
them, it's work-life balance.
Okay.
Tapi
For you to say bell ring, kira aku dah boleh agak kau punya 40 lebih tu berapa lebih
Masih pakai bell lagi.
Kira dah close to umur aku.
And also they are macam a bit more flexible. Macam let's say you need to work 8 hours. They don't have the specific timing 8 hours. You can come early, you go home early. You can come later, you go home later. As long as you clock the 8 hours.
8 hours.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's macam the whole Germany or just that company, but that company practice macam itu.
I think for some job scope boleh lah.
boleh lah.
That applies.
Okay.
I think tempat aku pun sama. Diorang offer this scheme lah. Kau boleh, if you want to start early, then you go back early lah. But that one, the only flexible part is that the only problem part you need to inform siang-siang. Kira kau this rate kau fix. Then for example, I want to work 8 to 5. So we fix for that all time 8 to 5. Lepas tu 5 kau balik. Tapi tu nak kena buat a formal request upon approval.
Okay.
Upon approval. Tapi kita dengar orang kerja overseas macam gini tapi pada aku ada DP pros and cons lah.
Mana-mana kerja ada.
Yeah. I mean macam pakcik aku pun satu kerja overseas selalu. Then aku see him, you know, when he most of the time if I see him I think mostly at the airport. You know, mostly at the airport makan, you know, after that travel balik. So maybe after a while orang tak ada time for the family. Tu yang dia punya. Pada aku orang tak nampak lah. Orang nampak dia glamour lah gini lah, kerja travel lah.
Yeah, true lah. I mean, initially it's fun lah. After a while it's a drag also lah kan. I mean, once you completed your area, there's nothing to look forward already lah.
Okay.
Pasal you will see the same people, you will experience the same problems. So nothing to look forward to lah.
Kau datang
Dah tak ada R&R lagi dia. Habis kerja balik, tidur.
Yes, aku
You wanna get home as fast as possible.
Germany initially, aku jalan-jalan semua. The second time baru tak jalan lagi. Aku duduk kat hotel, aku nak makan, aku call. Tapi the best thing, kau call tu, ada halal food lah. Aku pun terperanjat ada nasi goreng Singapore.
Nasi goreng Singapore.
Jauh-jauh tidak kat
Which part,
sana.
which part of Germany that time?
Stuttgart.
Stuttgart ada. Oh ya, Stuttgart. Okay.
Nasi goreng Singapore. Nasi goreng Singapore.
Kat hotel lah.
Kat hotel.
The hotel menu. Wow.
Not the hotel menu tapi kedai. But you can call lah delivery.
Delivery. Take away lah.
Tapi Germany bagus pasal banyak orang Turki. So yang bagus dia senang nak dapat makan.
Dekat lah.
Bukan dekat. Banyak orang Turki kat Germany. That time when I was in Stuttgart, the problem where cek makan lah. Aku cek makan usually cari kedai Turki mana-mana kebab tapi makan kebab je lah.
Yalah.
Atau dia punya nasi so called dia punya aku tak tahu apa nasi apa tadi ada tu.
Tapi the population also Turki lagi ramai daripada Jerman.
Ya.
Kat sana.
Kat sana aku rasa kalau macam ada riot orang Turki tengah buat apa? Bukan riot apa okay? March
Protes. Demonstration lah.
Protes. Oh, kecoh. Aku pernah nampak sekali. Time aku kat sana. Dia cakap, ini... Asal
Tapi
orang
aku rasa it's a common thing. Aku kat sana pun nampak protes a few times.
macam biasa. It's a common
That
thing.
time aku nampak one of them, diorang protes about Zara pakai kulit binatang aku rasa. So dia dekat luar kedai Zara dia protes. Itu macam it's a norm lah kat sana.
Aku dengan datang ke sana, aku protes dia. Pasal apa tau? Presiden dia datang sana. Turki punya presiden datang sana, diorang protes. Diorang tak suka dia punya presiden. Pasal diorang datang sana, diorang lari daripada ni. Terus diorang protes. Pasal dia punya presiden datang sana.
Okay.
Diorang kelakar dia. Okay? Okay. So we got to know what's Azri background. So maybe Lan, you can share what's the title for today. Apa yang kita nak berbual ni sekarang?
Okay, actually I have this story by this user. She shared her story. Okay, I already said her. Boleh her okay, but the gambar and name will be masked out lah. So this individual was frustrated pasal dia apply kerja. It says it was advertised for 9 to 12k.
Salary.
The salary.
Okay.
So her asking was 8k.
Okay.
Okay, based on experience gained over the last 3 years and 15 plus certifications, investing with her own money. Okay, but then when I think the recruiter or the interviewer asked what was her current salary, and when she shared, it was like, why are you asking for such a big jump? Dia tanya kenapa pula.
Okay.
So
The big jump is jump from the previous last round salary.
Last round salary.
Okay.
So the frustrated lah, like why are we being paid based on what's our last round salary? Isn't the value like tagged to what we can do, kita punya skills, right? Whatever certs we have. She feels that she's not over asking. She even asking, actually she's asking below lah kan, dia minta 8, actually the ad was like 9 to 12. So, and then she gives a bit more background lah. She started with no certs, no experience, blah blah blah.
Was this her second job she applied or?
It is unclear, but it looks
okay.
like it lah.
Okay.
Because she said she started with no experience kan. And then 3 years she has the 15 certs, blah blah blah. So she's basically frustrated and then she luahkan perasaan on LinkedIn lah. So I did reach out to her, can I share your story? Blah, blah. She said go ahead. So that's why we're asking. So is her expectation realistic? Apa pendapat korang? Is it tagged to the last drawn salary a reasonable gauge?
Okay. So we start first Kau pernah
We start there lah.
We start there. So kau pernah tukar kerja, betul tak? Tukar kerja. So is this a norm bila HR will ask you can I have your last drawn salary?
It's a norm for aku rasa USS.
Only USS ke?
USS minta aku.
Dia ada the offshore punya ni pun tak minta.
Tak minta aku. They already have a price for me.
Oh, okay. Go. Di?
Very very normal lah. Not as like macam itu baik, tapi macam specifically kalau macam engineering company, those jobs that require macam certain skill sets. For me lah, I don't know about anyone else, but for me macam so far what I've gone through is like, macam especially engineering companies, they will ask you I probably think that they want to match kau punya skill set ni dengan diorang punya, as in like dia punya kita, I mean like the JD before this and the current one that macam aku nak join tu kan, whether it's on par, you know that kind I guess so lah kan.
Okay. For myself, aku rasa I think almost all the interviews I went, I was asking my last drawn salary, except for the first one lah. But first one last drawn salary NS apa. So I think most the rest all they ask that same question. So my initial thought macam aku fikir, kau nak aku pay last drawn salary so that kau boleh gauge berapa persen kau nak kasih aku for this role lah. And is it kira tu gaji dengan yang current pay role tu kira lebih kurang boleh match ke tak, you know, that kind of thing. That is aku punya experience lah based on this one.
Okay. I have been asked before, pernah ada both lah, some ask, some don't ask. But for me it's a bit weird for this story Aku tak tahu you guys sama ke tak. Because the asking for last drawn atau last payslip is usually kau dah dapat tu kerja. For me lah, that's those that have asked me before is when I already I already have it. I already got the job. So
you got the job, that's why they're asking you for that last one.
Part of the document. Okay, usually kau kena dah dapat kerja nanti dia minta documents, right? And IC lah, bank account number, marriage cert, apalah kalau kau ada anak, birth cert. And my last payslip was part of it lah.
So but asking last drawn and asking for a payslip is two different thing though. I mean for me lah. I mean most of yang interview yang aku pergi, they always ask, or before even going for the interview, they will ask, what's your expected and last drawn.
Okay.
They usually ask, but usually when dah dapat kerja, as in like macam cakap, okay, you are selected to and blah 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 kan, for this job, baru diorang akan minta the physical
the evidence lah.
Evidence lah. Especially
lah,
macam usually they will ask for 3 months lah.
Okay.
The last 3 months.
Sampai 3 months.
3 months. Yeah. Aku pernah sampai minta last 6 months. Tak tahu lah, macam CPF pula nak apply rumah.
Tu lah, macam aku feel it, I mean personally aku feel macam weird lah. Is it like, why do you need like 3 months of my...
Zat 6 months, reason pasal the time pasal dia tanya pasal dia nak tahu bonus berapa aku dapat. So that's why dia minta for that last 6 months.
Okay.
But the point is that why, okay, macam tadi kau pay point your last drawn salary and expected salary.
Yep.
Okay, bila kau cakap dia, for example, kau pay expected salary aku nak 4,000. Okay. So I think that should be just the full stop. Whether tu 4,000, whether kau boleh meet, the company boleh meet ke tak bayar. Tak payah to point then your last drawn how much You know, that kind of thing. That's aku punya point, that point lah. Then second thing is that for that 4,000, then kalau kau kasih aku lebih, pada aku today macam ni 4,000 dah, kasih 4,000 sudah. Tak payah kasih lebih Walaupun macam for her role, as she says, is 9 to 12k. Then she's only asking for 8. So when she ask for 8, should the company kasih 8, minta 8 lah, kasih 8 lah, tak payah kasih dia lebih
I have experienced something similar. Tapi okay, for me about the last drawn last drawn so far tak pernah. Okay, if the comparison last drawn and last payslip, last drawn probably once or twice, I don't recall. But I think it's more to kau punya current sekarang. I mean normally people when change job expect a pay increment.
Yeah.
Right. So probably that is just to filter out kau sekarang dah is your pay scale now already in the current pay scale? Kalau aku kasih increment, does it overshot my budget? That's probably the case lah. But for her, it's probably not lah. Kira aku minta 8 apa?
Yeah.
Right. So it should match. I feel asking for last drawn also more or less gauges whether kau legit ke tak.
Okay.
I say this that's my personal opinion lah. Because I also have faced this before. Because when I got a new job, And then they ask me, what's your expected salary? So aku cakap lah, gini. So dia cakap, okay. Senyap 2 minggu, they call me back again. And this was after like 2 rounds of interview.
Okay.
Aku faham lah 2 rounds because that was like a lead position kind of thing. So dah lepas 2, the director needs to interview one more time, gini. So like, asal pula? I don't know if I've shared this story before, but so when I went for the 3rd round of interview, it was just the hiring manager and the director. So dia tanya lagi tau, aku punya current scope berapa, gini. And do you feel that you are leaving because you are underappreciated ke apa? Aku tried to be evasive, politically correct lah kan, macam tried to brush it off. Lepas tu, then he went direct. Mazlan, do you like money or not?
Ada tanya gitu, like money. You don't like money lah.
Terus aku macam, dia ni tanya apa siap? So I said, yeah, of course naturally everybody loves money, everybody needs money. Terus aku macam, why are you asking lah? Terus dia, oh, because you're asking is lower than the range.
Okay.
Terus dia, okay, so what is the range? Pasal kat ad, aku honestly tak ingat, but I don't think there was a
The range lah.
the range,
The range was offered, okay.
Honestly, for that role, aku pun tak ingat applying for it. I just remember, Lely or don't call. So when he said the range gini, I don't even remember pasal by then aku dah tak record sangat kepala otak aku. And then they said, okay, just know that it is what you're asking for is way below. So we will give you scan, which was like probably 1,000 plus over what I asked for.
Okay. So that was for example, the scale is, we take this scale as an example. So you were asking about 8, but their scale is like somewhere between 9 to 12. Then were they giving you 9 or they were giving you up to 12?
Tak lah, if the range, nobody gets the end of the range. No one. I've never heard before 8 to 12, you get 12. Tak pernah.
Okay, that comes to that point If kalau kau tak pernah, kau tak kasi dia, why kau offer? You know, that kind of thing. Kau tahu kau takkan kasi that up to that amount, then apa kau offer?
It also leans into the point where kau nak berapa besar that scope is. Because sometimes the scope can say a few things, a few lines, but then from the gaji, ni gaji besar, so takkan kerja gini aje. Right?
Kau pernah Azri, bila kau kerja, kau minta gini, tapi dia kasi kau lain. Okay, lebih daripada apa. Tak pernah, so dapat kurang.
Aku cuma ada 3 job je. Yang
Okay.
Aviation, USS dengan yang
Okay, Aviation kita tak, pasal Aviation aku rasa tech punya role aku tu gaji lebih kurang berapa. Correct. But for like macam, okay, for example bila kau masuk USS, kau mesti ada certain range apa kau minta.
tak ada. Pasal that time bila aku masuk, maybe they are mass hiring.
Okay.
Okay, so they are under construction, they need people, they are mass hiring. So aku just tanya-tanya kawan aku lah yang kat sana kan. So everybody said the same thing. Last drawn salary $200. That's it.
$200?
Everyone semua sama.
You mean last down salary plus $200?
Yes.
Jadi macam contoh macam Lando 2,500. So you just add on 200. Macam kau 2,000, add on 200.
Okay.
Macam aku,
Okay. Tak, I think the reason
Macam gitu lah.
no, for him the reason was that diorang tak ada baseline. We were starting, tengah start kan that time.
Yes, tengah construction.
Tengah start. So diorang tak ada baseline berapa nak bayar. Because I think USS was Singapore punya first so-called resort.
Then what about the German company?
German company yang pump tu.
German company aku tak minta pun. Because
Tak minta.
Kau tak minta?
Baik hati betul.
Dia kasi aku. And dia kasi aku tu is double what I'm getting from USS.
USS
Aku starting aja tu is double from what I'm getting at USS.
During the interview tu, dia macam dia tak tanya kau lah.
Dia tak tanya aku nak berapa semua.
The talking about
Kau pun
salary
tak tanya?
ada.
Aku pun tak tanya. Aku just went there for interview. Lepas tu dah berapa, okay dah balik.
Kira kau punya mindset is dapat lah, tak peduli lah. Sekarang aku dapat.
Macam gitu lah. Pasal aku dah fed up dekat USS. Aku really dah cannot take it. Pasal macam days where you are off, kau bangun, dah gelap kan, kau dah terperanjat tu. Aku lambat tu. To that extent. So aku macam, aku tak kisahlah.
Okay. But now, let's say, put you back in that situation. What kind of increment would you have said no to? Or gaji lah, what kind of range yang dia offer like, tak boleh
at
lah.
that point, aku just get whatever. Aku that time, apa-apa kerja semua aku apply. Halal slaughter officer semua aku apply.
You just to get away from
I just want to get out of USS. Masa aku
Dia
dah
tak play-
tahan kerja malam dia.
Dia belum apply genius. Kerja genius. Okay. So kira macam aku lah that time. Aku keluar, aku tu kerja office hour je.
Tahu nak cabut.
Gaji
Tahu nak
berapa,
cabut,
tak apa
gaji
lah.
berapa tak kisah.
Okay,
Asalkan keluar, pasal dah fed up sangat dengan tu tempat, aku nak keluar, aku tu kerja office hour dah kena buat keluar. So, yeah, it comes to that point. Okay.
Okay. Based on whatever kita punya experience and whatever we face, was this person's expectation realistic ke tak?
Okay. Realistic. Okay. For me, kena tengok balik dia punya experience. Experience
3 tahun.
3 tahun. Whether to experience 3 tahun tu kira kena mengena tak? Atau that experience dengan dia bawa tu can
To the new role.
to the new role, can bring to that new role to it can be expanded more. Tu aku punya take lah. Then the cert, as you say before lah, kita kadang tu just a piece of paper. For me, the experience plays a very important part where dia when dia pergi kat sini ni, dia boleh ke tak ni take over this role?
Have you exercised the skills from the cert? Some people just take the cert kan. Like I could be a halal.
Okay,
Halal.
we talk
butcher.
now we talk
I've
about
never slaughtered anyone
okay,
before.
we talk about cert lah. Okay, now we talk about cert. Since we're going to that direction, now we talk about cert. So macam pernah ke kita kerja all this while kan, or to go for courses yang kira tak perlu, cert tu tak perlu? Macam kau nak ambil apa lagi, dia suruh kau ambil halal tu, kau ada cert dah, potong ni, potong kambing. Tak ada apa.
Usually generic to the work
To that work lah, specific
to that work scope lah kan.
Okay.
Usually lah.
Or kau pernah pergi on your own will yang kau rasa aku nak ambil ni cert lah. Aku ambil ni cert, aku rasa ni akan tolong aku lah.
Okay.
For aku punya job.
Ada lah, like
Ada.
sendiri pergi ada lah.
Sendiri pergi ada.
But whether or not it helps in the next job is another thing lah.
Okay.
I mean like for me macam aku pernah pergi course food hygiene.
Food hygiene, okay.
Food hygiene. During COVID.
During COVID.
Because the thing is macam I mean that time was like macam that uncertainty period. So macam I thought that macam at least ada basic lah.
Boleh buat home base lah. Yeah.
Boleh buat home base ke, boleh kerja kitchen ke, whatever it is lah. So it's just macam for me it's like macam standby lah. Something like untuk standby je lah.
Okay.
That kind of thing.
Aku pernah pergi satu course ni. Aku thought that it could help me improve lah myself lah. During aku the time was thinking of maybe I need to change my line. So the title of that course is, I wouldn't say generic or I didn't read it properly lah. It's about computers punya blah blah blah. I forgot what was it lah. Okay, blah 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 blah. And it was a 2 days course dekat IT. I still remember there was IT Chocolicks. Okay. So bila aku datang to class, the first thing that struck me was that semua orang tua-tua. After that I felt something was wrong already.
Computer repair course something like that.
Tak ada lah. Tu kau kata course apa? Itu course macam mana nak pakai WhatsApp, macam mana nak pakai Facebook,
Siul lah.
macam mana nak do online shopping.
Yeah.
Okay.
Aku dah apa course ni aku apply and it's not cheap, you know.
Yeah.
It was like 200 plus or 300 plus. You know?
Pakai cash lah.
Tak, SkillsFuture.
Oh,
Tu pakai SkillsFuture. Pasti wasted lah pada aku.
Yalah,
200 wasted.
But bila kau apply that course, dia orang
Dia
tak,
macam nama
tak mention
macam ni tau. Kau komputer gini about the technology lah gini. Aku dah
dia macam sugarcoat ni
sugarcoat
banyak
dia,
sangat lah.
Kali bila masuk semua orang tua-tua tu aku dah suspect tau. Kenapa semua orang tua-tua Dan sekali duduk depan komputer. Okay lah, maybe dia nak I don't know lah, maybe go inside more. Dia start tu, okay, everybody know WhatsApp? Aku dah, WhatsApp? Ya, WhatsApp. Okay, I know that from the computer you can go WhatsApp from your computer. Macam apa ni? Malah. Okay, kau imagine that is the first day. Kau rasa second day aku datang ke tak?
Tak.
Aku datang.
Datang juga.
Knowing
Lagi-
man,
lagi
he
ada
will
harapan
come.
lah.
He will
Aku
come.
datang je.
Lagi ada harapan.
Tak ada, pasal dah bayar cakap. Saya datang, aku duduk, aku termenung. Aku cakap, apalah aku kat sini.
Full day lah. Full day.
Full day lah. It's a full day course tau.
Ada makan tak?
During COVID.
Makan tak ada.
Makan tak ada.
Aku rasa it was during COVID. Aku tak ingat whether COVID ke tak. I don't remember.
Probably dia macam untuk help that company survive lah.
Aku rasa lah. What con saya tu. Itu really con act saya tu. So this kind of certs, why are we saying that? For her, 15 certs. All that 15 certs, whether is that specific for her role in the company, atau that 15 certs can help her with the new role.
New role ya.
Okay, I did look up her profile sikit. I saw that from what I see, whatever she posted lah.
Okay.
It might not be the 15 certs that she was talking about,
Okay.
but there was quite a number of it looked like what looked like internal certs from IBM or internal courses,
Okay.
like
Internal
probably server management or
Okay.
this kind of stuff,
Okay.
which probably like certifying kau ada that kind of technical skill lah.
But that is like a basic level of certification lah.
I don't know because it's internal. It can be
okay.
anything.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
So there's actually a difference tau. When even though memang recognize IBM, siapa tak tahu IBM kan? But then it is more towards internal lah. It's not like an industry standard. Like for DC kita ada CCDP,
Yep.
you know those kind of things. For safety for shipping, engineering engineering pula. Aerospace. They have that industry standard. Like, kau pergi mana-mana is recognized.
Yep.
Right. So I think there's a difference from that. Maybe she don't recognize that yet. Perhaps I don't know. We are assuming lah kan. So there's a difference lah. I mean, then kau cakap pasal going for courses yang tak relevant. This usually is company hantar. It's those kind of good to have lah. Like first aid lah.
I think first
You know,
aid or
these
this
kind of
thing
things.
is not good to have. It's something aku rasa
Some is a
company
requirement.
lah.
Some is a requirement. For your role is a requirement.
It's a requirement.
But for me, it's good to have.
Okay.
Don't have also never mind.
Okay.
Because,
Again, it comes back to you punya job role lah. I mean the thing is, I don't know lah, but reading from dia punya post ni, is it the same job role or is it the different job role?
Yeah, I have a feeling it is different. But I think based on, let's say put aside, let's say it is a similar role, it is all the certs are relevant. 3 years is enough lah. It's enough to justify kau bukan fresh.
Tapi pada aku what can during the interview is very critical for this portion pada aku. Instead of focusing on that dia pay asking pay, they should focus on the questions which related to the new role, whether dia boleh answer ke tak. Itu yang pada aku
Yeah,
is,
so those kind of context we don't know whether dia boleh at that time dia boleh jawab ke tak. But it feels to me like okay, context this individual was in Malaysia. So it feels like she was talking to a HR, not the hiring manager.
I mean the first part lah. The first part lah.
From the way the ceritakan tu, it feels like she's asking HR. Then, I mean there are cases where HR sometimes gatekeep a bit. Kau tahu macam gaji, tak boleh lah, dia ni mahal sangat. Like it's purely based on salary tau. Tak ada tengok kau boleh.
Tapi tu yang kelakar dia. Dia minta 8. Tapi the gauge is from 9 to 12. Kira lagi bagus lah.
Okay, the other context that we don't have is what's the current pay.
What's her current pay lah.
What's her current pay, we don't know.
Okay.
Right.
Alright.
Because sekarang, I think on average, when you jump, people get 15,
30%. Yeah, max on 30% lah. Yeah.
30 is hard lah, unless it's like a real big jump. But generally, I think it's about 10 to 20% lah sekarang.
Yep.
Right. There's no more orang stay sampai bertahun-tahun lah. Kan? Orang-orang veteran-veteran je yang stay sampai bertahun-tahun. To get a jump, to get a really big increment, you have to jump ship lah.
Tapi dia aku tanya kau kau dapat tu pam kerja. Kau tahu that from your existing pay dengan kau punya current pay macam like double lah so called. Tapi did you macam ask around what is the baseline of that role that kau ada?
Tak.
Tak tanya.
Aku tak tanya pun. Pasal aku nak get out of US.
Hmm.
That's the reason aku just grab that job.
But you were there for...
Kau lama saya kat sana.
No, because the thing is, it is a small company. It's very lean in Singapore. The Singapore branch is very lean. And talking about certs, dia tak tengok pun cert aku. They can't be bothered.
Bagus ni company apa ni.
Bagus lah, dia gosong.
They didn't even ask. Kalau aku tipu dia pun, dia tak tahu. They never even ask.
I'm just curious, what question do they ask during the interview kalau kau remember?
Dia
Yang
tanya
boleh recall?
aku, kau willing to go overseas?
Itu I think number one lah.
Dia tanya tu, that's the key point lah.
key point.
Definitely lah.
That's key point. Then dia kau takut swim? Because you need
Takut
to
swim.
because you need to go for this MOSEC course.
Posek
Aku
yang
talking about
helikopter
courses lah.
terbalik.
Terbalik,
So you need to get out. So these are the main key questions that they ask me.
Okay.
And the other thing also, because it is very lean, so aku buat everything from A to Z. Aku buat quotation.
Oh, okay.
Aku buat that job. And a lot of job lah, macam FAT lah, macam commissioning lah.
Project.
Billing finance buat.
Yep.
Kejar duit aku buat.
Kejar kau kejar lah.
So I learn a lot of things lah kat sana kan. So that's why I stayed there for 7 years. So it's, some people macam, this is not my job. I'm not going to do this. A lot of people macam gitu kan. But you learn something lah.
Yes.
That's why I was there for 7 years.
That's the takeaway yang most people selalu lupa. You
Yes.
know, when the job offers you knowledge, whether kau nak ambil ke tak nak ambil.
Exactly.
So macam for her case, whether sekarang the consideration, okay, we are talking about dia really you say first round dengan HR. Okay. Then kalau misalnya lah HR cakap if I was 8K okay apa, then maybe as you say there's a reason why dia minta last down salary. Dia bukan minta last down salary pasal apa ni, what do you call, to know nak compare ke tak. No, it's more of dia ni ada betul ke dia ni daripada gaji lama dengan gaji baru, asal is there a big jump? No, is there a big jump? And aku tanya kau personally, even though it's a big jump, if she's capable of doing it, why not?
I didn't interview her. So I there's not much context to it. Tapi from my perspective is, I feel that she wasn't ready to be challenged. Why? It could be just a matter of kau nak justify lah. Right, rather than get emotional about it. Justify lah why is your 8K reasonable?
Fight for your right.
Fight for it lah. Like, or she could have just asked, what do you think is reasonable lah? So that
Maybe this could be because it was only her second interview, or bukan
lah.
the second work lah.
The second work.
Maybe
Second job.
Yeah, second job interview. So dia tak pernah experience where dia pernah rasa kau pernah kena challenge, during interview. Kau gini, kau jawab aku.
I mean, if she asks, then what is an acceptable range for you? Sekali HR tu cakap, 7. Are you willing to let go of such an opportunity over 1,000? Which is already a lot, like you so-called say it's a big jump, kan? Are you willing to let go 1K for such an opportunity? Right, maybe she, I don't know lah, dia tak ceritakan. So I feel like you have to be prepared to be challenged. Right?
I mean like speaking of this, aku pun pernah so-called kena macam gini jugalah.
Kena lowball lah.
But the thing is macam from an executive role and then to a like macam billing tech. So when they interview me apa semua, okay, you okay lah. I mean the interview when inilah. But then again they asked me about expected salary and this kind of thing lah. But the hiring manager kept on telling me your previous salary is
Very
like,
high ah.
very high. Very high. You can accept this some of salary, man?
Okay, but what was your asking salary? The question to me in that portion is that
Because I asked them. I asked them, what is your salary range?
Okay.
Aku tanya. So but when he gave that, untuk aku macam okay lah. I'm willing to ni lah kan, to take that
Negotiate
salary
lah.
lah. whatever he's paying me, aku cakap dengan dia macam okay lah, I'm willing to accept. But then again he kept on telling me that it's just your previous punya too high. So aku don't get what he was trying to inilah. But I mean like end of the interview, the supervisor came to me, you actually kalau manager dah cakap macam itu, hiring manager mana kau tak dapat.
Kalau kena salah hari aku tanya, hi, you ask you want to give or not? Salah hari serious no.
Serious.
You mean it's so irritating that you asking me repeatedly. I will definitely salah hari lah. Say kira macam datang interview basah ke dah basah guyuk hujan ke apa kalau kira dah soalan basah. Dia tanya kau gini macam why you want to give or don't want to give I go.
But the thing is after I left that place macam okay lah macam the supervisor was like macam berbual lah. Aku sempat berbual dengan supervisor. But what he told me is that macam I mean there's some political punya tinggi lah down there. Because I was interviewed by the HR, the hiring manager, the supervisor was just there lah. Dia tak
physically
tanya
there.
He just cuma tanya, can you do this technical thingy lah, gini-gini lah. That's just about it lah.
Okay.
It's just that macam what he told me that this is just for sini banyak politik lah. So I was like thinking okay politik macam mana but then again he told me macam so called macam they just want to interview to add to the numbers. You get what I mean?
Dia macam apa? Dia ingat apa tender apa
dia macam
dia ingat minimum 3 quote lah.
dia ada dia punya macam quota lah.
There is a criteria actually.
Dia cakap gila. Seriously.
Now for companies before they hire foreigners, there's a minimum period where you have to post on career switcher like local platforms, and then you have to have a certain number of local candidates interviewed before you go to.
Wah, I didn't know this.
It is a criteria. You tak boleh suka-suka macam first saja terus ambil foreigner, tak boleh.
Tak boleh.
Kesian foreigner semua.
So the thing is recorded lah. Kau dah interview berapa banyak orang local, berapa banyak.
It's a record for
aku
you.
tahu cakap macam gini rupanya. There's this system lah.
So minimum they have to like interview 3 locals or there is a range lah.
There's a range lah.
But I know it's a period of like I think
Aku rasa pun dia tak enforce.
It's not enforced but it's audited. So it can be randomly checked. So have you interviewed this number of locals? Did you put on career switcher? Because dia tak boleh. That's the only platform that you can say I did reach out to locals.
Tapi
career switcher for about 2 weeks.
Tapi tak buang masa ke kau rasa? So kita yang datang ni kan.
Dia tak buang masa dia buang masa kita lah.
Buang masa kita. Buang masa kita saya kita datang.
Macam pada aku I went back macam I'm just when I went I'm just a number lah. That's all lah. Macam okay. Okay.
Kesian. Kesian.
But it's good to know lah. You find out stuff macam ni.
Yeah, but you have to also acknowledge that kebanyakan, I think probably 90% lah. I'm just throwing a arbitrary number. Those that do interview were not trained how to do interviews.
Agree.
Right? A lot of people ajak macam, kau dah lama kan? Kau sini kan? Kau interview lah.
Agree.
Then it's either you were pulled in just to deal with the technical portion. Itu pun sometimes people like, ask what?
Agree.
Then or you somehow ended up in a
awkward situation.
A manager position or become like so-called the hiring manager. Okay, I want you to filter all these candidates. So like, tak tanya apa? Like, a lot of people are not trained, or at least have no idea how to ask, how to gauge. So it ends up sometimes this kind of interview lah jadi macam play not too high like, like you're asking the wrong questions, then you're receiving.
I used to know a manager who interviews. I mean, he has the best interview tactics lah. So called dia pada aku setiap kali dia interview orang, dia punya cara interview is not those normal type. I give you an example Example, okay, kau datang interview kerja. Nanti kau dah berbual, lepas tu dia tanya kau satu soalan tau. Okay, you have any question for me? Usually kita akan tanya, okay, company cuti berapa, apa dia punya ni. Dia punya reply, I still remember there was this interview dia tanya apa tau. Budak tu tanya so this company what is the leave? Kan usually ada 14, ada lebih 20. Oh ni kerja tak ada cuti. So budak tu kau dah ketahui budak tu dah muka dah blow lah. Ni kerja kita tak ada cuti. Tak ada cuti? Kita tak ada cuti. Kita pay kerja kira kalau kita tak ada overtime, so all the overtime hours kalau kau clock 8 hours, kira satu hari off day. Satu hari leave. So budak tu dah blow tau. So aku pun macam, why this burger
But that's not the actual situation.
No. What he was trying to do is that when I asked him lepas that interview, aku tanya dia, apa pasal kau tanya macam question? Macam aku nak tahu dia punya reaction. Whether ni dia datang kerja ni apa dia punya niat dia. So from that question, what do you get? Because from there you will know some orang alamak datang kerja nak tahu about dia punya apa. I forgot what was it exactly, but from there direction dia boleh tahu budak ni willing to work, whether dia okay ke tak okay.
But at the end of it, does he say that, oh no lah, actually have?
Yeah lah. After that, dia cakap tak ada. Aku just kidding around. Another one example was that he got to know this. There was this interviewer. Dia cakap dia dulu kejap kat factory. Dia buat tu drill, hand drill begitu. Oh, kau buat drill Okay. Kau tunggu kejap Dia keluar, dia pergi store, dia ambil drill. Okay, kau buka ni drill sekarang. Tunjuk aku macam mana kau buka ni drill. Budak tu buka je. Dia buka. Lepas tu kau explain aku each of every part of this drill. Kat aku. So depan aku dah macam, then I was asking, kau bukan, this kerja bukan pasal drill lah. Ni kerja kita, dia interview ni bukan kerja drill je. Aku cakap. Cakap tak ada. Aku nak tahu, yang selama ni dia kerja, dia tahu ke tak apa dia buat. Itu dia punya objektif. Dia cakap, dia tahu ke tak selama ni dia kerja tu, kat tu drill by company tu, dia tahu ke tak apa dia buat selama ni. Atau dia just kata some people like you say going to the motion. Dia repeat going to the motion without doing apa aku nak buat ni, tak tahu aku takat ni anu je. So dia punya interview taktik pada aku ada
unorthodox
unique lah. Very unorthodox lah.
It's a bit unorthodox, but
You know the common question macam dulu lah kita pernah cakap apa kau punya fire plan.
There are other ways to get the same result, but it could be counterproductive lah. I feel lah, I mean it's too terlalu
unorthodox lah.
Terlalu unorthodox.
Pasal dia macam dia punya concept was that I want to know what's inside his mind instead of, because dia cakap aku, dia bila interview dia macam script. Diorang dah prepare. The script, diorang datang interview semua dah prepare the script. Aku nak dah ni katanya ni. So bila kau kasih diorang curveball, whether diorang boleh react. Pasal in our industry curveballs come many at all of direction. So whether kau during that time kau boleh counter ke tak. So that is his intention. Whether when baik daripada terms of technical atau daripada clients or what give you this kind of curveball like kau boleh jawab. So itu yang pada aku bagus, tapi I don't know how each interview aku pernah pergi, every time mesti ada lain-lain. Dia boleh come out with this kind of thing to ask the interviewer. Itu yang bagus dia.
I mean it's a skill, I think, after some time. But if it is someone where, I mean if it's a situation where macam aku bawa kau I want you to sit in with me. Like it has to be explained. Kalau tak, so called kau punya intention tu is get lost.
Explain macam mana?
Macam explain lah, like after it.
After kau dah
if you didn't ask, would he have explained?
Yeah, okay.
You know, that kind of thing. So if you feel like this is a good way to do it, like it should be passed on lah. You won't be there. You won't be there forever, right? Like, so teach someone. Like why are you doing this? What's the purpose? Actually, the answer is not important. It's how he answers. You know, that kind of thing. Rather than.
But what you say correct lah. Interview someone is a skill. It's a skill by his own.
yeah.
Aku rasa tak semua yang most of the interviews aku pergi, I think most of the time it's very generic lah. Because dah macam aku tu, question dia kau dah predict apa dia nak tanya tau. Maybe once in a while kau akan dapat those yang kelakar-kelakar punya. For example, dia tanya kau work at height. Why you got work at height? So, because I work at height lah. Oh, you need to work at height. Then why I go for the course? You know, that kind of question pada aku macam
Yalah, sometimes macam kau just want to vent out that conversation macam apa ni tanya soalan macam ni.
Yeah, so it always be aware of. Usually, there's a reason behind the questioning. Don't get too emotional, you know, these kind of things. Yeah. And I mean, my advice for this lady is probably she should have prepared more.
Yep.
Get some facts lah about like kau punya role ni sekarang, this is the standard salary. and then my asking is justified because aku ada ni, right? Which is relevant to the work. It's not just some sembarang punya course.
What's your advice to the lady if you like seen her now? What would you tell her? Oh,
Dia tak fancy. What would you say?
Asking too much.
macam mana? Tak boleh lah. Macam mana ni?
But we also not sure dia punya kerja sekarang apa. Is it a new role, a new position?
Okay.
But in general lah, I mean,
In
like,
general lah.
how would you?
Kira sama lah. Kira we just
what-
take it sama lah.
We gotta wrap up soon. So like, what sort of takeaway would you give her?
I would say preparation is key lah, right? So you need to know how much. Jangan macam aku lah kan. Aku just nak cabut je. So she should know
Tapi
lah.
dapat juga apa kerja.
She should know that role, what's the salary range lah, so that it will not be too off lah kan.
Okay.
So preparation lah.
But like why I say preparation, do your homework, know the market, do your homework, know the market, know your value. And know where to place, like Landu cakap kan, where to place macam you punya cert ni relevant ke tak. If you talk about something that macam is irrelevant to the new job scope yang kena apply ni kan, then
Don't lah. Leave it out. Cakap-cakap.
Don't just macam nanti sebab the thing is macam interviewer kadang-kadang tahu macam kau ni trying to wing the thing ke apa ni. You know, that kind of thing. There goes your credibility lah.
Okay. Okay, we can wrap up for today's episode. Pada aku, to that lady, lain kali interview just fight lah. Just fight it, you know. I mean, sometimes diorang nak test because they want to know your credibility lah. That's the word. For anyone who, if you want something, you will fight for it lah. You know, since you want a job, you know that the range is something like that. Then, if you want for it, you fight for it. That's all I can say.
Okay, for those of you who want to share your stories ke apa ke, you want us to discuss whatever you're facing career-wise, just drop us a message, send us an email.
DM kita.
DM, our contacts are
Dalam mau.
up here somewhere.
Bateri dah habis.
Our contacts are in our link tree. Have a look.
Link tree. Yes, can find our
IG.
links.
I think we are more active on IG.
Yes, we are active in IG.
Alright.
Kalau support kita kat TikTok pun okay, no problem. Kita find us in Working Class, WORKING KELAS. Kalau nak email kita. Anyway, I got a few DMs which is positive.
Yep.
Thank you very much for the DMs that has been sent, sharing your concern. We will have an episode soon for these concerns that has been sent to us. Maybe we can share in our next episode. Anyway, thank you again to Azri for being there today. Kelang kabut lah, you managed to come.
Thank
finally.
you for having me here.
Of course.
And thank you for Didi, you're going off soon.
What is going on?
going
Coming from back from somewhere,
I thought you wanted to
going
go all
off.
the way.
Aduh.
Anyway, also thank you for this wonderful studio. I find that I think it's more comfy.
We'll include the link somewhere. You
Yeah.
can reach out to Wawan, the boss.
Yes.
Good rates, good deals.
You want to do some podcasting? Can come
Yeah, just say working
Like-
class then you.
Dia kasih discount lah.
Boleh apa discount Okay, that's all for now. Working class,
Clocking out. Terima kasih kerana sudi mendengar kami di Working Class. Jangan lupa untuk tekan butang link tree kami untuk melihat social media dan tekan sekali butang like di sana. Tapi paling terbaik kalau anda sudi share kepada keluarga, kawan-kawan ataupun share di social media anda episod ini untuk mereka yang memerlukan atau anda rasa akan dapat menolong mereka yang ingin berhenti atau bertukar kerja.
Terima kasih kepada penaja perut dan jiwa kami, Chocolicks Kitchen. Nak makan sedap macam air tangan mak, dari pulut kuning dengan rendang daging power sampai ke kuih raya yang buat teringat kampung. Semuanya dimasak dengan penuh kasih sayang. Jangan tunggu lama-lama, tempah sekarang.
DM je kat IG The Chocolicks atau TikTok. Makanan tradisi, rasa asli, confirm puas hati. Amaran, sekali rasa asyik teringat sampai terbabas diet. DM mereka di IG The Chocolicks atau di TikTok mereka untuk merasai makanan Melayu tradisional.